Prosperity Capitalist Podcast. I'm here with Airian Sage. She is a real estate agent, but honestly, she can tell you more about herself. So,
I'm Aaron. I go by Airian M. Airian Sage is one of the old names I can't get away from, but I mean, it's still there. It just speaks to my wisdom
okay.
and my spirituality. But I'm a real estate agent. I am an entrepreneur and I am a mindset coach.
Okay. All right, so Airian, what inspired you to dive into real estate, and how did you get started in this industry?
Okay, so real estate, I try to make this long story short, but real estate was calling me because I had an older sibling who, when I was about 10, he purchased a multi-unit and it seemed like our lives changed. Like all of a sudden he ended up with a Mercedes Benz. He was buying myself and my mom all type of gadgets and we was like, oh, this is the good life.
Yeah.
So when I became of age, I kept asking him, how do I purchase real estate? He would tell me, but I couldn't hear him. Every time when something is for you, it's going to come when it comes. So at the time when I was asking him, I heard womp womp womp, blah blah blah. I didn't hear him. But then I found out that I was expecting a child.
Okay.
And I asked that same question I had been asking for years, but this particular time I was able to hear him clearly. So knowing that I was about to be a mother pushed me into real estate to purchase my first multi-unit property.
Okay. That's what's up. That sounds about the time most people hit that epiphany moment when they realize, oh snap, I'm responsible for a whole nother person. All right. So can you share with us some of the challenges you faced early in your career, especially as a single mother?
Well, actually, some of us work well in chaos. Some of us work well under pressure, and I think I'm one of those people because that's what really pushed me. It pushed me into no longer being fearful. It pushed me into having to learn whatever it is I need to learn. And of course, that first income property, it earned me about 55,000 a year. And at the time, I was only getting paid like 30,000 with a master's degree
Right.
as healthcare administration. So to get some passive income that I don't have to work really hard for kind of bought me more time to spend with my son. It kind of bought me more time to figure out motherhood. So I can't say there were many challenges. I got with the top producers so they can mentor me, David Alloway and Amanda Stapleton in Chicago. And they helped me cut out a lot of the riffraff and a lot of the headaches and boo-boos that a lot of new realtors experience. So I kind of like got straight to the money. Like both of my first 2 years, I think I made 70,000 just helping people buy and sell real estate, and then on top of the 50,000 from my income property. So that was completely different from my work all day, stress yourself out, make a lot for a corporation, and or just be underpaid for something well that you do. So that was real estate ended that for me. It ended the hustle and bustle and exchanging your time for money. It ended that for me.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of us battle with that first step because we're all taught the same thing is that you have to trade your time for money, but really you don't, especially once you start building up your skill set. So I'll ask you, you said you had mentors and stuff like that, so you really feel like that was like a game changer for you personally, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's usually what I advise people is like a lot of mentors and stuff charge money, but if you can find somebody where you can volunteer your time for free, they'll mentor you. And I know it.
It comes naturally.
Yeah, it
it's
does.
Just like, hey, I need someone to handle these transactions for me anyway. So I'll walk you through the transactions as you are actually handling a part of my business that I can no longer handle. I don't have the capacity to handle. So yeah.
Exactly. That's why a lot of internships don't pay because you're actually learning a lot, and it's what you do with it after you learn it. Because like you said, a lot of times it comes to you at the wrong time, and so it's womp, 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 in one ear and out the other. And then later on in life, when you run across it, you were like, I do remember this already. That's happened to me so many times now in life that I'm actually following my dreams.
So I'm excited for you too.
Yes,
so that sounds so good. I'm following my dreams. I'm
Yes.
following my dreams. So that sounds wonderful.
It really does. All right. So you've grown a highly successful business in a competitive market like Chicago, right? That's where you're from?
Correct.
And what strategies do you employ to stand out and thrive?
Teaching, information. I'm not so great at implementing or showcasing the information on social media because I call myself old school millennial. But in real life, in person, I do know that my clientele really appreciates that every step of the way they're being taught something. They're not being just thrown in the jungle with the wolves. You
Mm-hmm.
know, they're actually there. I'm holding their hand and also teaching them every step of the way. Along with, I do a very thorough, I guess, training after the consultation before we even start, because sometimes it is a lot of hustle and bustle within a transaction. Sometimes it's really fast, and I don't want them to feel lost during the transaction. I know that a lot of times I got clients because they felt lost. It wasn't like their realtor was doing anything wrong,
Yeah.
but it was more so that they had no information during the transaction, so they felt like they were lost. They felt like their realtor was doing something wrong,
Right.
and actually their realtor was doing everything they needed to do except for informing the client.
Yeah, because a lot of times people can't move forward until they fully understand why
Yep.
or what's going to happen next. It's the fear of the unknown. And I learned that lesson in my 22 years in food service, because in food service it's a big trend of spending a little bit of time on training and then just throwing people into work.
Yep.
They don't even fully understand what they're doing, and that's why fast food service usually has a high turnover rate, because people aren't getting trained properly. They don't know why they're doing what they're doing. They don't know what's going to be the result, or why. Like, they don't know why. When people have that fear of the unknown, it just ruins their whole work ethic and everything. So it's always good to try to educate people, and I'm big on that too. Especially now, I work at a dispensary and clothing boutique.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I'm helping put together all of the inventory systems, the onboarding systems, and all of that stuff. Plus, we have a lounge in the back that we're gonna rent out for event space and stuff like that. So I really love this job.
That's exciting.
I really love this job. Now, like I said before, it doesn't really pay that much in the beginning, but it's a big learning experience, and yes, it's something that I always wanted to get into anyways, like opening my own dispensary, opening my own clothing store. Every single aspect of where I work is what I wanted to do anyways. So now I'm helping somebody else's dreams come to fruition, and I love it. Because that's like my primary goal, is to help people bring their dreams into fruition. And that's the whole reason I created the Prosperity Pathways podcast, so that people like me and you and other entrepreneurs and investors can share their story and help inspire other people, so that they know and they don't have that fear of the unknown, or what if this happens, what if that happens. Like, I was studying real estate for a little bit, and I was going to do wholesaling. I got scared off because I saw somebody's story about how they kept being gypped because they were the middleman. So, don't want to be the middleman for real per se, but I do want to own property, so I'll get to that eventually, and I'll just be a real estate investor. I technically don't want to be a real estate agent, but I am going to get my insurance license, so I'm going to help people get their life insurance, which is another very valuable asset that everybody should have.
I tell everyone, no matter what you do in real estate, do real estate. You don't necessarily have to be an agent. You don't necessarily have to be a wholesaler, like you said, but do something in real estate. Own properties, own multi-units, be a general contractor, be a loan officer, whatever, because real estate, it definitely gives you some type of freedom, no matter what capacity you're in. I would just say real estate is the way to go.
And everybody always needs a place to live. And a place to work.
We're always in real estate, right?
Exactly. You always need real estate, just like food service. People always have to eat, and not everybody knows how to cook. So it's always business.
Commercial real estate.
People always need clothes. People always need shoes on their feet. There's certain industries where you should always dive into, even if it's just a little bit,
because it's a necessity.
Exactly. It's a life necessity. So, how do you balance the demanding role of being a real estate agent and your responsibilities as a mother?
As a mother? He's a businessman already. He's 7, and he's been a boss baby since he was talking. He's really interested in anything that is entrepreneurial. So his aunt, which is one of my mentors as well, she is a successful restaurateur in Chicago, the owner of Two Fish Crab Shack. And he was basically there when I used to be at work. So he was,
watching everybody
reared in the business of just having a business. So a lot of times he say, "Mom, when are we going to open up my business? Like, you keep ignoring my ideas," and I'm not ignoring his ideas.
I know, you got to put it on the back plate.
We just gotta do them. So he makes it easy for me. Along for a while, he was saying his mom is a realtor. So he would go to properties and I would give him a job. He would be the one to hold the keys until we get out of the property. He would also show what he can show. He'd say, this is the kitchen, this is the refrigerator. So he had fun with that. When I would flip, do my own personal flips,
Yeah.
he would just love the aspect of going to Home Depot with me. So it's not that hard. I think being an entrepreneur in general goes hand in hand with me being a mother. It gives me that freedom. It gives me more time. So if he's sick, I have flexible schedule to be at home with him or nurse him or take him to the doctor. When I had a job, I had to ask someone, can I take my son to the doctor? And that's one of the biggest thing for me when it comes to the freedom of entrepreneurship and being a mother. I don't want to ask someone,
Freedom
do
of
I have
time.
to take my child? Can I have your permission to take my child to the hospital?
It's like, I'm gonna tell you I'm gonna take my child to the hospital.
You know, for you to just potentially say no.
Yeah.
And, most times jobs try not to be careless like that, but the reality of it is they could still say no.
They can. Yeah, because there's always somebody else that can fit your spot.
So,
and a lot of places, that's how they move.
Entrepreneurship makes it easier for me, makes motherhood easier for me.
Yeah. Because now you can be the employer. Now you're the boss. You can make those timely decisions and put people in certain positions so that way you can move how you need to and they can move how they need to. And that's another reason why I like my job, is because, like I said, it's a small business. So if I need something or I need to be off or anything like that, it's understandable. Now we do have a small crew, so I care about the job too. So if I know they don't have the people, then I'll reschedule something because I know our crew isn't that big.
Exactly.
So it's a give and take. It's like, hey, okay, your birthday's coming up. You gonna take off? We're gonna give you the day off regardless. So you better find something to do. Like type of stuff. That's the type of conversations I have, and that's like a family.
And you sound like a wonderful leader too.
Yeah.
And you want that type of environmental dynamic when you're coming into a space where you're, spending your time. You want an environment where you're supported. You want an environment where people have positive energy. You want that,
Yeah.
So it won't have to be what we call work.
Yep. Exactly.
In a moment of vulnerability, my son was diagnosed on the autistic spectrum. He is very high functioning, however. But another part of my why is to make sure that I establish some businesses so he can be CEO and won't have to be stood on a job and let go because of his special needs at times, and that he can just hire someone to fill in his blanks
if need be. Yep, exactly. That's the same way I am with my son, because like you said, yours, he'll go to his aunt's restaurant and stuff like that. My son would go to his aunt also. She has a lounge.
Okay.
And so he would go, like when they first got the building, he saw them setting everything up, painting the walls, putting up
That's
like
important.
everything. He saw the finished product. We had dinner there before. He went for his cousin's birthday party, one of her daughters, and all that stuff. He sees them doing their business. He sees mine.
Yes.
Anytime I'm doing some type of business, he's with me. I had a cleaning business for a little bit 2 years ago. He would go with me to
love
go
that
clean
about
houses. Yeah, he would go with me to go clean houses and stuff like that. When I was working a regular 9 to 5, if I had to bring him to Boston Market with me, because I used to work at the restaurant Boston Market, I'd have him sitting out there because I didn't have a babysitter. Can I help? Okay, here's a broom.
Here's a broom.
Here's a rag to wipe the table down right quick. That's it.
And it teaches them something early on too. I've seen a lot of younger people just not have the know-how to do small
simple things. And because I was in food service, there's grown-ups. I worked at college campuses that don't know how to sweep a floor. They don't know how to mop a floor. You only know how to make a sandwich. You barely know how to boil water to make yourself noodles. Like literally, they don't know how. They make them in the microwave. Exactly. So, but a lot of times that generation that raised them, they had to do everything. So now they're like, oh, I'm not going to make my kids do this. But there are certain things they do need to do.
Know how
because they have to learn life skills. That's why there's 40-year-old men who still take their clothes to their mom's house to get them washed. Like literally, like
baby.
Yeah, and she'll still do it. Like, you raised him already. Let him go. It's hilarious. All right, so
I think I'd be too harsh sometimes. I tell my 7-year-old, like, he's doing chores. Whether he knows how to do them or not, he has chores to do.
And there's one book that I read that you shouldn't even pay your kids for chores because those are life skills and things that they're going to have to do when they grow up anyways. You're not going to get paid for it when you're doing it for yourself. Just so you know. So you're not going to get paid for it when you're doing it for yourself. So why pay your child for something that they got to do anyways? The book was telling me, like, you should pay them for stuff like reading books. Or if they actually come to reading like personal development books, not like adventurous books, like they give them from school. No, I give my son like Rich Dad Poor Dad, The Way of the Superior Man, Thinking We're Rich. Like he's 13 now. He just turned 13 in October. Yep. So I give him those type of books. When you come to work with me, like even at my job, he can't go to all of the different places because, like I said, it's a dispensary. But he could watch the door, check people's ID. That helps you with math. What's the date that you have to look for them to be over 21? He gave me that answer. Like we go through all kinds of different things so that he can learn. And he knows, like even as far as like podcasting and stuff, he wants to be a gamer. So he started recording. He knows how to edit videos.
The way out here, they getting paid.
They do get paid. And once he gets here back to DC, since I just moved here, he still stays with his grandma. But once he gets here, they have 24-hour gaming centers where they have tournaments and all kinds of stuff where he can win money. That puts him into the esports league and stuff like that. Like I know somebody who got a scholarship. They paid for their whole master's being on the esports team at the school.
Wow.
Period.
Wow.
So for all those parents out there who think you need to hurry up and get them kids off that game system, if anything, you need to be on their ass. Are you building your skills up? Do you know all the cheat codes? Like if you're gonna do something, do it right. Period. Go all the way. Otherwise, stop spending so much time on it. Because there are a lot of kids who be on their video games all day long, and that's not even their goal. They actually have no goal because they're not thinking about it.
Do stuff with intention and strategy. Yes, enjoy it, but if you're really good at it, have some type of intention and strategy behind it, so that way you can leverage it.
And that's another reason why I like exposing my son to different things too, because then that way he can actually choose something that he likes instead of just choosing something that just because you're doing it. You get to meet these type of people and these type of people. He went to Invest Fest with me the first year, so he got to meet people.
I think I remember.
Yeah, he did. He went with me the first year. He saw some YouTubers that he followed and all kinds of stuff. And then last year he was kind of upset he didn't go. He's the one who said he didn't want to go. And then after I came back, he was like, "What? Who was that? Man, I should have went." Yeah, you should have went. I told you. Next year we're going though. I hope they bring it here because they talking about putting it in a different place.
They need to.
Yeah, but if not,
it was too spacious this second time. The second time I went, but it was the third.
It was extremely spread out, but it was good material. So I'm not gonna complain about it because they had enough complaints. People complaining.
I was one of the complaints. I was complaining.
It's okay.
Because that first one that I went to, and I know that was more like their second one, but it was the first one that I went to. That set the bar for me. Yeah. I had no complaints.
They honestly could have kept it in that smaller space like they had it the first time because it would have been better for it to be crowded for real. Because then it feels better. Even though it was still crowded, we could tell it was crowded. It's just so fucking
versus 20,000, and I could have did without the 20,000.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people who were there, compared to the first time that I went, I would meet 10 people, and of those 10 people, 8 of those people would be good contacts, like yourself. The second time I went, I would meet 10 people, and 8 of those people would be people who don't even know why they're there.
They don't even know why they're there.
To the 9th or the 10th person, I'm tired, and I don't even care to know what you're talking about at this point. But you could have very much so been those 2 people that I needed to talk to.
Yeah.
Because I've been to Turks and Caicos with someone I met at Invest Fest the year I met you. I'm here with you, and we met at Invest Fest. It's a young lady who lives in Arizona. She and I discussed day trading. I'm new to day trading. Okay. But day trading looks very much so like the real estate market, so that's why it was a little easier for me to kind of merge over there. But I say that to say, I don't have anyone in my opinion, a 5-mile radius of where I am in Chicago who I can discuss day trading with. So I have to discuss day trading with a young lady who I met in Invest Fest who lives all the way in Arizona. So I say that to say I made some really good connections at Invest Fest, and I just think the quality of people were better when it was more intimate. For 12,000 people, and it was a little better without the fear of missing out. I think a lot of people who came this second time, they felt like
a lot of
they
stuff.
was afraid of missing out, so they just came.
Ended up missing a lot of stuff. I did end up missing a lot of stuff, like even because I'm in the Red Panda Club, stock club because I do trading as well.
Oh,
and I would
I
love
didn't know
to.
that.
We
We
should
didn't know
all be
that.
on
How
like
did we
a
know
group.
that?
Yeah, we should all be like on a group. Talk to her, the girl in Arizona. We should do
Okay.
like group sessions and stuff like that because I day trade too. I'm in the Red Panda Stock Club. I actually got that membership for free because I
Now,
went to Market Mondays live in New York.
That's Ian. Ian.
Yep, that's Ian.
Okay, does
Yep.
he do stocks or does he do
Everything.
Okay.
Yeah, so the first thing he always tells everybody to do is build your long-term portfolio first before you even worry about trying to trade or anything like that, which I've been doing. And I'm awesome at long-term portfolios. It's the actual trading that I need somebody to help me get rid of my fear. It's not even fear of missing out. It's just I don't want to end up pressing the wrong thing and just.
Do you have any XRP?
Hmm?
Do you have any XRP?
SRP?
XRP.
XRP? Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I like XRP.
Cardano?
Yeah. No, I don't like Cardano.
Okay.
I have XRP, and then that's going into cryptocurrency. I do have my crypto wallets and all that stuff too.
What's your hesitance with Cardano?
The objectives of it. So every coin that I invest in, I actually read about it. So what is their objectives and things like that. So XRP is more for banking and finance stuff. Meanwhile, Cardano, I can't remember what it was for, but I chose not to because I'm limiting what coins I invest in so that I just keep investing more into those. So there's only like 5 or 6.
Okay.
There's a couple of them that I have that I just got for free because what's the name of that app? I forget the name of the app, but it has like little educational things you can go through and you earn coins.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I got some of my coins, but most of them, if I put money into it, it's Bitcoin, it's XRP, it's Ethereum.
Okay.
That's it.
I was just curious. Because once I hear, I'm like, what do you got? What you got? So thank you for that.
Yeah, cryptocurrency because I'm in tech too. So like this past year, I got a bunch of my CompTIA certifications, and then I also I'm doing my data analytics professional cert right now.
Okay.
Because digging into data, doing the analytics, doing the research to me is very pertinent when it comes to trading and investing.
Absolutely.
So those are the skills I want to build on because my 10-year goal is opening a hedge fund and a venture capital fund. Yeah, so I'm building those skills and building my reputation as a business person, as an entrepreneur, as a coach, somebody who can help them build their business, organize their business better, and all of the above. That's what I'm working on. Yes. And then I'm still working on that book. All right. So what role has networking played in your success, and how do you approach building professional relationships? We kind of touched on that
we
just
did
now.
touch on that. Networking is extremely important. I'm just going to say to people my advice from my own journey, because right now I'm actually assisting a politician right now. Okay. And before assisting a politician, I had no interest in politics, which I still don't. But it's just showing me a little bit of background of how things work in Chicago. Especially if I'm trying to open up businesses, these are some of the things I need to know. And just being able to make a phone call to get things pushed through is a whole nother level of getting it done and standing on business. I know a lot of people kind of crave power. I don't.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of good people don't crave power, but it is still sometimes a necessity to get things done, and sometimes that power can come through networking.
Yeah. Honestly, that's the power is in who you know. And that's what me and a few friends were talking about the other day is that, yeah, you want to be successful in business, eventually you have to venture into politics. But what that person was trying to tell me was, oh, you should go into politics first. You don't have to go into politics first, but be sure you understand that politics is going to be involved if you're going to be in business. At some point, politics are going to be involved. So you can't completely avoid it.
They're heavily involved in Chicago when it comes to permitting, zoning, signage on your property, or even just not wanting you there. They may not want you in their area. That's where, to me, it becomes to look like kind of like gang banging in a sense. Like they can't come in my territory with that business. Yeah. So you also want to just make sure your reputation is clean, so that way when it is time for networking, no one has an issue, referring you or mentioning your name for the right opportunities and in the right room. So networking is a big piece. And personally, for myself, I had to get out of my comfort zone and learn to network with people who don't just give me a tribe vibe, right? I love my tribe vibe people.
Yeah.
But sometimes
We have to be uncomfortable
we
a
have to be
little.
uncomfortable, whereas they may not feel very tribal, but they can probably still get you connected.
Yeah. I definitely run into that a lot too, because I'll start talking to somebody and it's like, I don't really get this vibe where I want to chill with you,
I don't want
but
to chill
I
with you.
do know that you know what I need to know.
You
so
know it. So
we have no choice. So
how
let's
can
chill.
I get it from
Yeah.
you? And what do you need that I can probably offer with
Yeah.
my business and service?
Exactly. So what can we offer each other?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So the real estate market is always evolving. How do you stay ahead of the market trends, and what current trends are you most excited about?
So we're in a weird space right now. We've been in a weird space for like the last 2 years. So I saw it because I'm just real big on analytical data.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I can just feel it. So all the markets are connected, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when the eggs went up to what, $10 or so, $9, $10 for eggs.
I'm glad I stopped eating them.
I kind of saw things like that happening prior to,
Mm-hmm.
and I could feel them. So that told me what the real estate market was going to do when I saw things like that, even though it was way before the egg hype. But I want to say October 2021, I was like, things are about to change. I can see it, I can feel it. So what I did was I sold one of my assets that has I've been literally living off of until the real estate market kind of stables, but also to open up something. So I am working on opening a restaurant in the food industry, like you mentioned, and I stay ahead of the trends like that. So always being prepared. Also with real estate, I was focused more on the larger ticket deals, and what I mean by that, like more either wholesaling and or flips during this time period, because when interest rates went down, buyers disappeared, and if there's no buyers, there are also not many sellers.
Exactly.
So if those are gone out of the equation, the agents aren't making money. But happily for me, I do more than just help people buy and sell real estate. I buy and sell on my own. I flip on my own. And there's always opportunities within real estate. You just have to, like you said, stay ahead of the trend and kind of always be prepared for whichever way the real estate market goes.
Exactly.
But don't be afraid of real estate, because real estate is your friend. You just can't get content without having some things in place that will get you over to the next moment in time.
That is very good advice, actually. Yeah, because a lot of people, they try to stick with whatever is trendy, but sometimes that's not the best thing to do because trends fade. So you want to stay with whatever's going to last, whatever holds the most value to people. So
I'm going to have a Cat Williams moment. A lot of realtors in the last 2 years, since October 2021, in my opinion, they've been doing a lot of dancing on TikTok.
Yeah.
They've been doing more dance on TikTok than they have been selling houses. And I'm honest, like, and it's okay, because you want to stay top of mind.
Yeah.
And that was probably the whole point of the TikToking. We had more time on our hands. Prior to October 2020, we didn't have as much time on our hands as real estate agents to do all the dancing on TikTok, because we were making money. So when the money
driving
started
for dollars and
we were in the thick of it. We were getting to it. Everybody, it was getting the Arab money. But no, like when the market started shifting, we began to have more time. So now you probably noticed that a lot of realtors picked up podcasts. You've noticed that a lot of realtors are just TikToking and doing making raps, realtor raps. And this is no shade. I'm just giving the real of how we came to be. And now the interest rates are going down. You'll see that more. You'll see less of that, because we got to get back to the
buyers. Yeah, you got to get back to work. Definitely get back to work.
I was like, I am having a Cat Williams moment.
Yeah, she's like, y'all doing too much dancing all in the videos like Puff Daddy. No, that's a Suge Knight moment. If you don't want your producer dancing all in the background of your videos.
You don't want your realtor dancing all over TikTok.
Yes.
And just a public service announcement: do not pick your realtor solely off of TikTok dances.
Ooh.
Like, do some real research on
Yelp
them.
reviews.
See how much how many properties that they've sold all together. what is their success rate, and maybe if they can offer you a referral of someone that they've actually worked with in the past or what have you. Don't just pick them off of social media, please.
Oh no, those people who Google and pick the first thing that shows up on their Google search, please stop doing that. I'm so sorry. That doesn't even go just for services. Like, just please stop doing that. When you're researching something and all that, like, please stop doing that. Because then you come at me with that fake information. So funny that we had a whole conversation the other day and somebody had came at me with the, said, where'd you research that? They pull it up on their phone. This one right here. See this link right here? The one that says sponsored?
Paid to be on top.
Yeah.
Paid to be at the top.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so for someone looking to start investing in real estate, what are the key factors they should consider?
Starting to invest, someone who wants to just start. First, getting rid of fear and undoing lack mindset. If a lack mindset is present, I find common times that when I'm working with even clients, they have a piece of paper that says they're approved. That piece of paper, it is a document from the mortgage company saying that you have the job, you have the assets, you have the credit score, you have whatever else that they're looking for to approve you. However, sometimes mentally they're not approved.
Right.
Mentally, they may still not feel like they are worthy of ownership. Mentally, they may not feel that they can own, like that they can own, and it's really a sad thing because that's where more of the mindset coaching comes. Because I struggle rebranding because I'm like, how do I mix mindset coaching with real estate? And I'm like, I use both of them all the time.
Exactly.
A lot of times I have to do a lot of the mindset coaching in the beginning before we even go see houses, because if you're pre-approved for $400,000 of a home and you prefer or see yourself at like a $50,000 house because something that needs a lot of work, that's because it's a mental.
Yeah,
it's a mental
you don't
setback.
see yourself as deserving of something.
I've had several
Move-in
clients
ready.
like that. They would pick and excuse my language, they would pick a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Before they pick something that's nice and updated, because they're comfortable.
Yeah, they don't feel like they can maintain something because they've already been used to something that's not what they deserve.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can put it. Like, you deserve better. I don't care who I'm talking to. It could be a homeless person standing under an awning in the corner. You deserve better. Like, period. So a lot of people don't realize that. And I can honestly say I had that mindset for a little bit. Like, what is in front of me is what I think I deserve. This is what I have. This is what I can obtain. Instead of putting your mindset to where I can obtain what's not in front of me. I can obtain the stuff I see in pictures. I can obtain everything that I want. I just have to put in the work to do it.
Yeah.
I just have to have the confidence to do it. That's
So
all
outside of just the mental aspect of things, I would say consistency and discipline. You don't always have to go out to a club. You don't always have to spend on that bag. You know, just stay consistent and disciplined and put your goals forth, and also have a mentor of someone who's done what you're trying to do. Because if we're listening to Auntie Kat or Uncle Tom,
your cousin who's still on Section 8,
who ain't never bought a house,
your auntie who still works at Burger King,
someone
like,
who's never
don't
purchased
listen to them
anything,
people.
they will tell you, oh, the market is terrible. They don't know nothing about the market.
Yeah.
You know,
they go in the grocery store and say, oh, it's inflation. No, inflation affects more than that. That stuff's gonna go up regardless. People don't realize that food is gonna go up regardless. Just because you see it go up and you think it's because of inflation, it's more involved than just inflation. Inflation affects the value. Well, we're not going to go into all that, but yeah, it goes into everything. So, and it always happens. So there's no need of you just saying it because you heard it on the news. Like, inflation is always happening. It's just, it either slows down or it speeds up. But if you don't know about it, then you hear it on the news, you instantly go with it. That's why I stopped watching the news, because it's nothing but negative stuff that is usually on there. It's pointless. If it's something extremely important, it's going to come across my feed somehow. That's the same way they push Amber Alerts straight to your phone. So if it's important, it'll get to me at some point. That's how I feel about the news. So you manage multiple properties and run a business. how do you maintain healthy work-life balance?
Early on, I used to work nonstop and I used to allow my clients to set my schedule. I don't allow that anymore. I pretty much turn my brain off at 6 o'clock p.m. I might find myself working a little later sometimes, but that's at
Yeah.
my own
Pace,
leisure or
yeah.
what have you. And Sundays, I give myself, I don't do anything on Sundays. I may do some spa treatment. I'll go to church. I'll do something
Personal
family
health.
related. Nothing
Personal
business
health,
related on
yes.
Sundays, just to kind of reset. You still got to exercise or do some type of yoga or meditation. I'm not consistent with those things as much as I used to be, but it definitely helps set my entrepreneurial success. It definitely helps set that, and I want to get back to it. But I'm in the shift. I'm transforming in so many ways internally, business-wise. I'm doing a shift. So once I'm out of this transformation state, I'll probably get a new rhythm. But it's still necessary, whatever that looks like to you, some type of meditative state, some type of physical exercise. I went to Stretch Lab for 3 months. That was beautiful. Like, it was just beautiful.
Oh, I heard about Stretch Lab.
Oh, it
I
was
heard
beautiful.
it's a good thing.
For the people who, like, I'm lazy, so you'll never really catch me doing cardio for real. So yoga is my thing, but
Yeah.
I'm even too lazy for yoga. So Stretch Lab is like for the people who are lazy like me, who still want to get that flexibility in, because they stretch for me. They stretch me for me, and I don't have to do it like I have to do it in yoga. So.
Yeah. So look, kind of like a what do I want to call it?
A flexologist, what's the chiropractor?
I think that's
people.
what they're called, reflexologists and stuff like that.
Oh,
yeah.
it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
I want to try it. I work out though. I like working out, and I haven't been as consistent as I have been in the past, but I do try to make sure I go to the gym at least once a week. I work out at the house because it helps. On the days that I work out, I feel like I have better clarity of how I'm thinking, and the blood flow is better, so it helps. I don't always do cardio. Sometimes I do weights and stuff because I'm not trying to lose too much weight.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I like working out.
You look good.
That's a good thing. Yeah, thank you. All right. So, what advice do you have for other single parents aspiring to succeed in entrepreneurship or real estate?
Other single parents aspiring to do real estate, I always tell them to have some type of passive income, still strive to eventually become full time. I never tell people leave their jobs because that might not be for them, but I was able to leave my job only through the way of having a income producing property.
Plus, you didn't like it, so not really.
What
Or
the
you
job?
did? Yeah.
I liked it when I first got it,
Okay, so now you ain't like
and
the
then
job.
eventually I grew out of it.
Yeah.
Some things are for a season.
Yeah.
But I worked at a place that we were diagnosing children with autism,
Okay.
and I loved it because of my schedule was completely different from the previous job, where I didn't see weekends and I didn't see evenings and I didn't see my son. So this job, I was able to get home early, see my son. It wasn't too much. But without that job, it served a purpose. Without that job, I don't think I would have felt the need to get my son evaluated for autism.
Yep.
Because he was so intelligent. He was reading at like 2 years, 18 months. He was reading. He wasn't talking yet, but he was reading books.
I know grown-ups who went back and got tested for autism and realized that they're just highly functional. Never knew.
He was doing so much. He was so developed that I didn't think that anything was lacking, but he was lacking in some areas of development. And at that job, it kind of like, when I was asking people what did they need evaluation for, they were like, oh, my child is these many months, they're not doing X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, wait a minute, my son is that age and he's not doing that either. So after I got the evaluation, it seemed like the purpose of the job was no longer there. It was like I couldn't go in there anymore. Like, it just like, okay, it served its purpose, and I go. But also with that, it pushed me into full-time entrepreneurship, because I realized that my role for that company made them at least $25,000 a week.
Yeah.
And I was going home with 1% of that, which is about $300.
Yeah, and 1% is not worth it.
After tax, I'll say after taxes, and it was part-time. So if it was full-time, it might have been 2%. But 1% of 25,000, and my role was bringing in 25,000 a week. And I told myself that if I can make a company 25,000 a week, I can make myself 25,000 a week. Yeah. And in that first year or first 12 to 18 months, I quadrupled my income as a full-time entrepreneur. So I always tell people, have something to fall back on, because at the time I had my building to fall back on, and then I think I was Ubering until I figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
But have some type of income so that way you won't be operating out of desperation. You won't operate out of lack. You know, because
Yeah.
you don't attract things when you are thinking what you don't have all the time. Oh, I need to pay my bills.
Yes.
I need to pay my bills. Oh, my bills.
Thinking
late.
about
Oh,
what
I
you
ain't got
don't
this.
have, what
When
you need,
you
and
don't
that you
attract.
can't get it, instead of just thinking, okay, I need this, I'll be able to get this, and such and such. You have to think in an optimistic mindset. People don't realize that your thoughts will turn against you if you don't keep them in check.
Especially if you're in survival mode.
Yes.
So survival mode will make you feel stupid for quitting your job. It'll make you feel like your dreams and goals are stupid, and they're not. So I just say to those who are single mothers, have some type of support, whether it's people who will keep your kid during certain times, or understand that you may need someone to come over and cook the meals for you or your child because you're tired. I personally lock my hair.
Yeah.
Locking my hair when I first became an entrepreneur and a new mom with a toddler, oh, it was beautiful. That was one less thing I had to worry about. Once I got a good grip of entrepreneurship, I was like, oh, you know what? These locks serve no purpose anymore. So finding things that work, finding a rhythm and routine, self-care, support, and making sure you have some type of income so that way you can still go forward with your dreams without having survival issues.
Yeah, having to fall back into survival mode and end up messing up all of your progress. Cut because I feel like I did that before. Like I think with my clothing line, where I didn't quit my job, but I was working it and I just kept putting money into it, and I didn't give it enough time and enough effort in the marketing aspect to even make it a success before I just was like, I can't do this. Now, in that same token, I also realized as I was building it that it wasn't really something that I was passionate enough about to put that effort into it. And that's why that's another reason
Check your
why.
passion.
Yeah, exactly. I was just like, you know what? I'm not passionate enough about doing this to even keep it. So same thing happened with the cleaning business. It's like could have kept it, but hiring and all this stuff is like it's exhausting, especially when you keep running into people that don't want to work.
Yeah.
The hiring process is something that I feel like I don't mind doing if I'm already in a business where they already have people to fall back on. So like where I'm at now. We start hiring, we have people that can work right now. I don't have, it's not imperative that I hire. It is important because some of us are working and we're supposed to be just doing administrative stuff. But at the same token, I still have the time to do that. Like back when I had my cleaning business, I still had so many clients booked up. Like I could barely fit in interviews because I'm doing all of them myself. So by the time I do actually get one person to hire, I'm like, I train you for a week and I gotta start sending you to places because I already am super booked up. Like I'm making $4,000 a week just myself cleaning houses, so I need help.
Glory, that was good problems to have.
Yeah, it was good problems to have. It definitely was, and that's what helped keep me in a good mindset. That cleaning business is what kept me in a good mindset, and me not having a deeper passion for that is why I went ahead and just said, forget it, because I could have kept hiring people, I could have kept it open, but that's not something that I was completely passionate about. And there was other stuff that was going to divert my attention, which is my book and my podcast. So I just decided that I need to focus on that. I need to focus on my book and my podcast, find something that earns me money that feeds into everything else, which I did. And now it's all gravy right now because like I love the job I work at. I'm going to interview the owner too, and he's going to be my next interview.
Yeah.
Because he's been through a lot too, and for him to own this business that he owns now, he's had one before, and then he went through some of life and had to open this new one. We're about to open another one in Baltimore, and like we have suppliers that we're building. We're like it's growing exponentially, and it has been growing even more since I've been there because I'm very customer service driven.
Yes.
So that has helped boost us up a lot too.
That's good.
A lot of my marketing ideas we put out there, so I really like it.
It's so wonderful to think something and then see it realized.
Yes, because there's like a couple of marketing things that I had pitched, and then the box came and it's like, oh, Erica, look, Oh snap! Okay, thank you. It's excited to see your dreams come to fruition, even if they're for somebody else.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love it. All right. So, what has been your proudest moment so far in your real estate career?
I would say the times I would get top producer, it's a few. Top
Okay.
producer, my son being able to see me finish my first flip on my own with no help,
Have you put in any construction work?
like myself. Child, what are we doing here? No,
You never painted
absolutely
a wall,
not.
at least.
No, no. And then my mentor, he actually laughs at me because sometimes he kind of encourages that. And I be like,
Yeah.
look, I start doing my nails. Like, who's gonna do that? And then I start acting like a real
The whole
helpless.
diva
Oh,
moment.
I be so helpless. Like, oh, I'm helpless. Help. But no, like, I guess those would be it. Oh, just I purchased 3 properties in one day.
Okay.
That was January 3rd or 2nd of
Mhm.
2022. And like I was saying, coming out of 2021, I was gearing up for the shift in the market.
Mhm.
So I'm like, let me capitalize on these interest rates because I feel like they're about to go up, which they did.
Mhm.
Let me get 3 properties and because I was planning on moving out of one eventually and selling it for my restaurant. So I just kind of got prepared.
Okay.
I just got prepared. So purchased the 3 properties in one day, finished, letting my son see me finish my first flip and be a part of that. And then being a top producer several times out of my company.
Okay. Coldwell. Coldwater,
Coldwell
right?
Banker.
Or
Mm-hmm.
whichever one is called.
And they've been in
Coldwell.
existence since, I want to say, early 1900s.
Yeah. Yeah, they have. They've been around a very,
I
very
want to say
long time.
1906. I think it was giving me Alpha's year.
That sounds about right.
I believe so.
Yeah. So, looking to the future, what are your goals and aspirations for your business?
So like I said, I'm opening up a restaurant. I want to continue to do real estate on a more massive level, more commercial real estate. I want to own more commercial real estate. I want to own several restaurants, and that's pretty much all I feel and wake up to every day. Like I just feel like God keeps smacking me in my forehead with it. Like,
Yeah.
this is what I have for you, and this is what you need to work on today, every day, going forward. So my restaurants and ownership of more properties, primarily commercial, so I can help other entrepreneurs when it comes to them operating in a brick and mortar.
Okay.
We need to see more of us owning brick
More
and mortar, so
commercial.
that way we can be the landlords to these businesses as opposed to always the other
Do
way
you
around.
feel like more commercial property is a good step right now? Because
Right
a lot of
now,
people are
not
saying
right now,
okay.
just overall when you said what's my trajectory or my vision. Right now, no, because a lot of places are not requiring that, but like coffee shops,
Yeah,
coffee shops still
you
need
still
stuff
gonna need a
like
place.
that type of stuff. But like office spaces is kind of like out right now.
Yeah,
So
they are.
as the society is shifting now, so once we kind of get
Shift
through
back.
this,
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say shift back, shift to whatever is new,
Yeah,
whatever is
because I
next.
don't think we're gonna completely shift back to the way it was before.
Could change a lot of things
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot more co-work spaces and stuff like that because people don't really need an office for 7 days a week or anything like that.
My mentor is actually, he has a suite space, so suites, so he cut them up into co-working type of things, and people can rent them out and use them how they see fit for their business, but it's more cost efficient to the entrepreneur, but also still gives the owner their rents.
Yeah,
in a way.
Yeah, because there's even around the corner from here, there's a space where they have like 4 different restaurants in there, and it's just one big old kitchen area, and you can go in there. You can't eat.
We call those
there.
ghost kitchens. Do you all call it ghost kitchens?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what they're called. Ghost kitchens, and so they have like 4 or 5 of them in there, and you just go in there to pick up your food. You can't really sit down and eat though,
but it's still helping the business.
Exactly, it's
that
still helping the business. They got an
feeding.
industrial kitchen to use and workspace
Clean.
and place to store all their stuff without trying to stuff it all in their house. Because a lot of people do end up starting their business out of their house, which is commendable.
I don't want to eat at your house. I'm sorry.
At the end of the day, yeah, exactly. Most people don't want food that just came from your house.
I don't.
And a lot of ghost kitchens, you're not sure where it's coming from, honestly, because some of the ghost kitchens are actually coming from other restaurants. Like for a little while, Boston Market had another restaurant on Grubhub and all that stuff, but it was Boston Market food.
But you know why?
Yeah.
because a lot of businesses hit that plateau, whereas like financially they needed to figure out another way to be innovative, and
Oh yeah.
sometimes that's the way to be innovative.
Oh, I
To
already know that's
still,
why Boston Market did it because they're closed now.
oh, so the one that I just saw one in Chicago, maybe in the last 3 months, and
Uh-huh.
then I just passed by the other day and it was closed. I said, I'm like, it was just open.
Yeah, they're closing. They're slowly closing. So the one that I used to work in Southern Virginia, there was only four in there: Chesapeake, Norfolk, Virginia Beach, and Hampton.
Mm-hmm.
So the one in Hampton was the one I worked at, highest revenue Boston Market in the area.
Mm-hmm.
They closed all the other ones slowly but surely across the water, and this was after I had left. So basically, I jumped ship just in time.
Good.
Literally, because like this all started happening a year after I left. Because I left in 2022. So by the end of 2022, two stores are closed. Then by the end of last year, all of them are now closed. Period. In Southern Virginia, you will not find a Boston Market.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And the funniest part is right at the beginning of COVID, a new owner had bought them. They were originally owned by Sun Capital, and then some new owner from Jersey had bought them out and was trying to remodel and do all kinds of stuff. But obviously that didn't work out.
It
Yeah,
was
it's
too
already
late.
too late because they were already going downhill anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Back when Sun Capital bought them, I think in 2016, I want to say, or before that, they were already kind of going downhill. So it was no saving them.
Yeah, businesses have to stay forward thinking, and they have to, because Boston Market was
They've been,
always a staple. It was always
they
a staple,
were,
but
but
they
mostly
did not.
Thanksgiving food.
They didn't grow or evolve.
No.
So when you don't grow and evolve, you get left behind, and you get eventually closed down. So
Yeah. Because even the rotisserie ovens that they used, it was a proprietary thing. The ones that they used, you can't buy the parts and stuff for that anymore. So you can no longer like fix it.
without
So
it being either costly
yeah,
or not fixable.
yeah. Because the one I worked at for 6 years, we're supposed to have. There's three ovens. We're supposed to have all three of them working. The whole time I was working there, at most we might have two of them working. When I left, it's only like one working.
Wow.
Because they barely like we had stowed away parts and stuff that we would use, but
And as a forward thinker, you would say like, okay, we need to figure out a new way to make the chicken.
yeah, or just like just some type of new avenue. But the rotisserie was always their signature thing, so that's probably why they just went ahead and just said we're gonna just shut it down.
Yeah.
Yep. So it happens in business, and that is part of the process. Even an old staple like Boston Market can shut down.
Yep.
If you don't stay with.
If you don't evolve.
Yeah, like they didn't have a lot of vegan or vegetarian options. They don't have. They didn't. There's a lot of stores like if you don't expand that menu to fit more people, even if it's just one option on the menu, that's all they need. Like I feel like McDonald's. The only reason McDonald's will stay around because they appeal to kids. There's always kids. But if McDonald's were like a higher end restaurant, they wouldn't be around because they've taken so many healthy options off of their menu. I don't see salads on their menu
I haven't
anymore.
been there so long.
They used to have oatmeal. I don't see oatmeal in their menu anymore. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff because I used to work there.
I used to work there long ago.
When I was working there is when they first introduced the Angus burgers they had.
Okay.
It was before my son was born, so 2009, 2010. It was 2010.
I think I was working there around 2008.
Yeah, I was working there in 2010. That's when they came out with the Angus burger and the Frappuccinos.
And then I worked at Burger King, and I think still to this day, from those experiences, I think Burger King.
I don't go back to near one of them if I can help it.
If I have to eat at one of them, it would be Burger King.
Yeah, if I have to eat, it would be Burger King.
I just
if you throw Wendy's in the mix, it'll be Wendy's. If you throw Chick-fil-A in the mix, I'm gonna go to Chick-fil-A instead.
Oh, absolutely.
But and I especially love Chick-fil-A. That you get to see.
When you were talking about the shutdown, that's actually who I was thinking about because I remember it was so profound when he said he passing the baton to his son before the baton drops. And he said a lot of times within businesses, you can tell when a baton drops before it's passed on properly. And it's like, it's crazy as a consumer, you can actually tell.
Yeah, you can.
When the higher ups are tired, exhausted, or there's some type of conflict, you can feel it when you're just purchasing. So I thought that was pretty profound, and I was thinking that when you were talking about Boston Market, I was just like, that sounds like what happened.
Yeah,
in a
the
way.
baton definitely got dropped because when it comes to family businesses, you have to make sure that whoever you put in positions are actually trained for that. Don't put them in that spot just because they're family. Even he said that. I don't put people. They were like, "Oh, do you employ all of your family?" All of family gets shares of the company, but not everybody works with the company because not everybody can work with the company. His son got a. He handed the baton to his son because his son was already in training, basically under him, and learning the position. He was like, he went ahead and passed the baton to him because of the way he handled COVID. When COVID hit, he was like, oh, he ready. You can tell when somebody's actually ready to do the job instead of just trying to look out for them. Don't screw yourself by just trying to look out for people, because just trying to look out gets both of you fucked over.
Yeah,
that's the only word I could use for that.
Yeah, that's
it
true.
will literally get both of you fucked over, because eventually you're gonna have to fire them, and they're gonna be pissed at you for firing them because you hired them knowing that they couldn't do the job. When it'd be easier to just not hire them, and you mad because I didn't hire you. Now you made it a whole situation. Well, it was okay for me to work the job at first. Like, no, it's not. You can't do the job, so I'm not going to employ you. Period. My stepmother keeps talking about a restaurant. She want to open a restaurant. She know I want to open a restaurant. She's not good at, like, she wouldn't work in the restaurant.
Okay.
Basically, if I open a restaurant and I want to name it after her, sure, but she's not gonna work in a restaurant. The way she cooks and stuff, like, I wouldn't put you in nobody's restaurant. I'll eat your food, but I wouldn't put you in nobody's restaurant. You can't work in a restaurant the way you cook. You cannot. As a matter of fact, that's why she.
Hey, we just gotta be real. We gotta have those Cat Williams moments.
We do. We really do. Like, cause she used to work at Denny's with my dad. That's how she met my dad.
Okay.
And she got fired because she would eat off the bar. Like, you eating off the bar?
No, she don't.
Yeah, she would eat off the bar. Like that shit. Like, because you know Denny's be having that buffet. She would eat off the bar.
That's a big no.
Dude, don't. Like, if you gonna eat on the clock, at least hide.
Yeah.
Don't eat off the bar where everybody else has to touch it. Thinking, oh, it's okay, I didn't touch nothing else. But like, no. That's why I don't eat at buffets for real no more. Because I used to work at Golden Corral too. Like, most of the people are clean, but you can't say everybody's clean. And then furthermore, you got all these customers walking around your stuff. Like, the workers could be awesome, but all these people? No, sir. All right. So how do you give back to your community, and why is this important to you?
I'm so glad you asked that question. I actually made a reel about this, but I haven't posted it yet.
Okay.
So I'm trying to open my restaurant. Right. I've mentioned that several times. Right. However, I'm still working on it. I had to pivot a little bit. I had to make some shifts and what have you. But God said, still feed his people. Right. And I've been feeding homeless people every chance I get on my own time personally. If I have some food left over, or I might just go purchase something, and I go stop where I know that they are. We have too many places in Chicago where they typically gather and they stay.
Yeah, just like out here. Yeah. You probably seen plenty of them. Yeah.
Last time I was here, I did. Since I've been here since yesterday, I haven't. But yes, I do remember.
Yeah.
And then outside of that, I've been volunteering at New Life Covenant Southeast, Pastor Hannah's church. They have a food pantry, and I volunteer there on Thursdays. And it's just so nice to see the community come out and appreciate the food. Though the food isn't not for me, it's from the food depository, but to be a part of that, it is just as fulfilling as me having a restaurant, to be honest with you. And it has been filling that space that, oh my God, because you know, as entrepreneurs, we have those moments like, oh, I'm a failure in my restaurant, no, don't be it. And I had those moments because I thought it was going to be open way last year. Yeah. And in the interim, this has kept me sane. It has kept me knowing that I'm still feeding God's people, because ultimately that's the goal, is to feed God's people, and not just with food, but with love. I don't think that we have enough love in the world, and I do think that that's a way that you can spread love with through food. Yeah. So I've been doing that. Of course, I'm a member of Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
Yeah, I know you, AKA. It's almost, what, did your Founders Day already pass?
Yeah, so it was last week, and I probably got sick from that, because I told you yesterday, the day before yesterday, I basically had flu-like symptoms. I'll be honest with you. I had chills, shakes, cold, cough. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to make it to DC. I didn't even want to tell you that bad news
Yeah.
because I'm like,
It's
I don't
okay.
want to cancel again.
Not,
So
not yet, yeah.
I gave myself all type of garlic, all type of what, but I said that to say I probably got sick strolling by town today. But anywho, but
At least you have fun though.
through my sorority, we also do a lot of fundraising for scholarships and what have you, any service to all mankind. So that's pretty much how I give back.
Okay, that's what's up. My mom's a Delta, so
Okay.
yeah, their Founders Week was last week too, I think. Yeah, because a lot of the Deltas came through the store to grab some stuff.
I think you told me that.
Yeah.
I think you did tell me that.
Oh yeah, I did tell you before that my mom's a Delta. Yeah.
Okay.
And I wanted to be an AKA.
Okay.
But I never went to a traditional college.
You see the light.
Yeah, I do. Jesus. Yeah, I actually was talking to a couple of different people about sponsoring me in because as long as I have a degree or something, they said I can get in, and I do. I have my associates and my bachelor's.
Okay.
So, yeah. And I'm really into it because it's a good networking thing. A lot of people don't understand that joining fraternities and sororities, it's not about partying, it's about networking and building a community amongst your people. Yeah, then you build that community amongst your people. That way, when you actually need something or you need a hand or you need to help somebody else, you have those people you can reach out to because it creates this whole separate network of sisterhood and brothers for the fraternities.
Brotherhood.
Yeah, it's definitely something like me as a single mother, and I was the only child for a long time. My little brother didn't come along until I was 15. And then by then I moved to my grandma's house, so I've been by myself.
You've been by yourself.
Yeah, so I really like being able to network now because I was a big introvert, so where I didn't really like talking to people. I would want to talk to people, but not at the same time.
Yeah.
So
it's a strange place to be in. Because I found a word for that, and they said Jesus was like that too. Mm-hmm. Whatever the word is, I forgot, but it was an introvert mixed with an extrovert. Someone who would prefer to be alone, but they're good at talking to crowds of people, and I am like that.
Yeah.
I love people, but I also don't at the same time. So they said that Jesus' personality was very much so similar. Like he preferred to be alone, but when a crowd come around, he gather around, let's talk.
I believe that. And that's also why a lot of people don't realize in the Bible, he didn't start his journey as the Jesus that everybody knows and exalts until he was 33. Mm-hmm. He was fighting it. They told him who he was and what he's supposed to be doing and all that stuff ahead of time. He didn't want to do that.
I don't blame him.
The same way we heard that blah, blah, blah when people were telling us what we wanted to do. They told him what he was destined to do, and he was no. If you hear the real stories, he didn't want to do that. He was just like anybody else. He's a human. He did not want to do all that.
You have to do
the calling. Exactly. That calling finally was like, come on now.
I get smacked in my forehead every day with my calling.
You and me both.
And sometimes it's like an argument with your parents. I'm like, okay, I hear you. All right, I'm doing it. I'm going.
But
okay,
I don't want to. I kind of had that moment this morning. My alarm went off. I don't want to. I'm gonna wait because I had some stuff I had to do before, like meeting up with you and stuff too. So I've been up since 7. Like, I was like, I don't want to. I'm just gonna go to the interview.
Man,
and I was like, nah. Let me go ahead and do all of it because all of it is necessary.
And it's always a lesson with everything too. So like I said, God has been telling me to still feed His people, but He's also showing me what it would be like if I don't do my calling. He made me feel it, and I was like, I don't want this.
Me too.
I don't want a life without my calling. Give it back. And so as I said, give it back. Some things have been coming into play because it was a long, I would say maybe about 6 months of nothingness, of feeling some type of void. And
when you're not doing what you're supposed to. Yeah.
He said, this is what it would feel like. Do you want this? And I said, nope.
Yeah.
Nope, I'm waiting on you.
There's a lot of people who are depressed, and that's why. And they don't even realize it. They just go run to the doctor and go get some medicine. You're depressed because you haven't found your purpose. You're not even looking for it. Yeah.
My potential business partner in Atlanta, who I was going to open up a restaurant with. So I was going to open in Chicago first because that's home, and I know the market. No matter how many changes, I know the market. I just want to start there, and I want to do something in Atlanta, and I want to do something in maybe Houston or Dallas. And my partner in Atlanta in April last year committed suicide.
Oh, wow.
And no one really knows why.
Yeah.
But sometimes I think what you just said, I'm like, I think he just couldn't wait. I think he didn't feel like he had purpose, you
Yeah.
know, and to have plans with someone who dies that was something I had to deal with as well.
Yeah.
But this is my word to those who, this is my advice to those who are feeling like they don't have purpose or feeling like they're not on their journey to their calling. Just sit still and ask for peace and clarity,
Mm-hmm.
and ask for God to guide you,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll come.
Yeah.
It'll come.
Yep. And just make sure you're doing research on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by research on yourself is pay attention to what made you happy
Mm-hmm.
when you were younger. What, not even as a grown up, what made you happy when you were younger?
Mm-hmm.
Before the drugs and alcohol,
Yep.
before the relationships
And the responsibilities.
and the responsibilities. What made you happy? When I sat down and did that in silence to myself, it was writing. Just period. I will write all the time. I write poetry. I I like writing. And then even in elementary school in fifth and sixth grade, we had a news show. It was fifth grade. We had a news show, and I was part of that crew. It was 5 of us, and we would rotate jobs. So either you're doing the video editing, or you're one of the casters, or you're the person doing the script, or whatever. We would rotate jobs. So that's stuff that I loved doing. And when I realized and sat back and coaxed myself, like, that's what you need to get into. How can you get into that? Podcast. I'm writing a book also.
Yeah.
So my book is a narrative that's going to teach people about financial literacy.
Yes.
And it's going to be an awesome book. So
yes, I'm excited for you.
Yeah. So that's
what's the timeline?
That's what kept smacking me in the head these past couple months, because I was supposed to finish it by Christmas. I said I was. And then I said I was going to finish it by my birthday. But my birthday's in 2 weeks. Now, given I can technically finish it by my birthday, but I also don't want to rush it.
Yeah.
So I am going to fit it back into my schedule like I was supposed to a long time ago, because that's my message that I need to put out to the world. It's not specifically my story, but it is loosely based off of my story, meaning that nothing in there is something that is probably not something that happened to me. I'm just saying that in advance, because somebody might read it and be like, I do remember this. Don't tell nobody that. Anyways, don't tell nobody that. But that's definitely what I went through, and that's how I figured out what my purpose is, and put into myself the willingness to move forward to it. So even where I'm working at now, that whole establishment and everything that I could see for it, as far as me organizing the inventory and all that stuff. Oh, and if you need help once you open your restaurant, let me know. I can help you create the menu and your inventory systems and all that stuff. I would love to help you do that. But just seeing, when I went there and I saw it and I met the owner before and all of that, I was like, this is where I need to be able to help get me to where I want to be. Because a lot of musicians and stuff come through there. Benny the Butcher, rappers and stuff like that, AB, like musicians, managers and stuff, they come through there. So actually that's a good spot for me to also find more interviews and stuff. Like,
and network.
Yeah, so there's this other guy who owns a restaurant in Richmond. I'm going to interview him too, because he came last week to come see the owner. So but my story, to get to the point of my story,
we be so
I know, right?
excited that we just
I was excited.
And there's so many moving pieces, so I actually have a hard time when I am doing podcasts to kind of like making sure I'm solidifying.
Yeah, so staying on topic, the reason I brought that up, for me to stay on topic, right, is facing your passion and finding your passion. The reason I'm going to go back to where we said being patient for your passion and stuff like that too.
Being patient for your passion.
I was supposed to be hired for that job. I talked to one of the owners, like helpers or whatever, and I interviewed with her and all that stuff. And, co-owners, because she said she owns it with them. So I sat down and interviewed with her. I was supposed to start like 3 months before I actually started. But I had already, when I talked to her, she said, oh, we'll start you this weekend. So I went ahead and gave notice to my job. And I had stopped my job. I wasn't working a job or nothing, but instead of me running back to my job, I found different avenues of ways to make me some money so that my schedule would still be open for that whenever they're ready. and it worked out perfect timing. I did the rest of my IT certifications. I got paid for those, and they paid for my tests. That money helped me pay my rent and make sure there's food in the house. Then I did that's with the classes, and then I did an internship that was paid also. Carried me through. By the time my internship was over, I was starting there.
Mm.
So because I had faith in what I needed to do,
Mm-hmm.
what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that it just takes patience, and that took like 3 months.
Mm.
It was 3 months I was waiting. Anybody else would have been like, "Oh, I just need to find any job."
Yeah.
Da, da, da. Especially since I was taking IT classes and stuff like that. I have my IT fundamentals, my security plus, and my network plus.
Talk your stuff.
Yeah, but those all help me. They feed into my data analytics because ultimately I'll probably be the CIO of that business, the chief information officer, to help keep all the information organized and secure.
Come on, talk your stuff.
Yeah, so it all feeds into each other.
It always does.
It does.
So I'll ask you this: how do you? Because you seem like a woman who has a lot of skill sets, a lot of background, and like you said, it all ties in together. And it's the same for me. It all ties in together, so I know it works really well, like a well-oiled machine. But outside looking in, how do you deal with the people who be like, "Oh, she's all over the place"?
I was all over the place for a little while.
Thank you for
people don't
transparency.
Yeah, I was all over the place because I wasn't sure exactly what I'm doing a podcast, and like I'll just get into IT. I took the IT certification because I said I was going to get into IT for a job. But like I said, my actual goal was to be over there. So when I put IT on the back burner and just was learning it as a skill set, that's what helped me clear up. And actually, I hit my clarity when I finished Security Plus. There wasn't another class coming up, and I was like, well, when there's another class, let me know, because I still haven't started work, and I need the extra money. So when there was a class, it was Certified Ethical Hacking or getting my Google Professional Cert in Data Analytics. That one stood out more than the Professional Hacking. So that's what gave me the clarity of, yes, I need to focus on information, on analytics, because those are all skills I need for my hedge fund, my venture capital fund, and for work. Plus the stuff that I already have experience in, because I was lucky enough to start in food service when management still actually had to physically look at the profit and loss statements and the budgets and stuff like that. Because nowadays they have stuff so computerized that they don't even tell you. Yeah, that if you're a manager at a restaurant, you don't have to look at any of that stuff nowadays.
They got toast.
That's why they do it on purpose, because it justifies how much they pay you. Now that you don't have to do as much, we don't have to pay you as more than what you were already getting. And that was their whole premise in that. And I saw the transition into that. So I was lucky enough. Like I said, I started food service back when you had to actually go to the bank to make a deposit. Because nowadays they come to you. Like, period. So I got to learn in advance. I've always been in learning mode ever since I started in food service, period. Because my whole point of working as many hours as possible was to learn from business operations. Ever since I was like literally my first job, that was my goal, was okay, let me work somewhere where I can learn about the business operations. Period. So that helps me now. Like I can look at sales reports and profit and loss statements and guest satisfaction reports because I've been looking at it since I was 16 and I'm 36. I have plenty of experience in it, and I'm just getting the certifications to go with it. That's all.
It all comes together.
Yes, ma'am. It all comes together. So I love it. I love being a business consultant. Like, if I get more customers, that'd be awesome.
When you get more customers?
Well, not if, yeah, when. When I get more customers, it's going to be awesome. But like I said, this was my first step, is helping with this large business, because I can attest to all of it. And everybody will come through, like I said, his co-owner, like once I actually started working, she came in the other day and was like, oh, I just wanted to let you know you're doing such a great job. And
I'm sure.
I was like, yeah. He called me the other day to make sure I knew I was doing a good job. Like, literally, I just called you just to make sure you know, I'm letting you know, like, you're doing an awesome job, and I appreciate you. Thank you. So, like I said, it's that family aspect, because somebody else might have got that call and said, oh, you don't have to say that. But yeah, in the back of my mind, I might be thinking you don't have to say that, but all humans need that affirmation of your work.
Yeah.
You might feel like, oh, you don't have to keep telling me that, but if they didn't tell you, then how would you feel? Exactly. You'd feel a whole nother way.
Mhm.
So them saying it actually helps, and it helps boost my morale, and it helps me keep going
Mhm.
because I know I'm helping build something big.
Contributing to something.
Exactly. Like I keep telling him, we're gonna be bigger than cookies.
Come on,
That's the goal.
talk about
Be
it.
bigger than cookies.
Mhm.
Period. And I'm gonna help us get there. So our next question: in what ways has your success in real estate allowed you to impact the lives of others?
Just again, inspiring. I know a lot of people would say, I never thought to own a property until I saw you own. I never thought to have multiple streams of income. I never thought to have passive income. So
Mhm.
just being an example of that, a lot of people I know has testified to me being that example for them and them wanting to own or them purchasing their first home. And that means a lot to me because that changed the trajectory.
Yes.
And I just also let them know, don't just buy one, buy more than one so you can leverage when it's time to leverage. You don't want to have to say, oh, my house is worth 3 times what I purchased it for, but I have to uproot my family to move
To get the benefit.
the money.
Yeah.
Have another house. So I always encourage my clients, don't stop at this first investment. I'm gonna get you over the finish line, but once we get to the finish line, we have a strategy and plan to get you your second and your third.
Mm-hmm.
You have to get your second and your third property, so that way you can actually see what wealth is, so you can get passive income through rent, so you can get your equity when your property is worth 2 to 3, 4 times more than what you paid for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because a lot of people don't know all of that stuff. And like you said, you get them past that first finish line, but you got a couple more laps to do, sir.
We get so used to Big Mama just owning one house for 30, 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
Never putting any work into it. And then only you got 8 kids and only got one house to pass down. So now you got
And then
8
once
kids
she passed
fighting over
away,
one
everybody
house.
want to sell it. And then when they sell it, you got to split that money too. On a
Everybody
house
either
that
fighting
you let
over
that
it.
everybody let get run down. Because y'all could have been helping her, even though it is one house. Y'all could have been helping
Fighting
her
over it just to
fix
get
it up.
$5,000 each, maybe 10.
Yeah, that's literally happening with my family right now.
It happens to a lot of
My,
our families, and we don't talk about it enough.
Yeah,
And enough is enough, and we're gonna say that's the end. We're
yeah.
not doing this no more.
So my grandma, my dad's mom, she got a reverse mortgage on the house. I told her not to. Literally, my uncles and grandfather built that house. It's a family home. She got a reverse mortgage though. So now I got to figure out how I'm gonna get the money whenever the time comes for God to call her. Then my other grandma's house, she passed away. So her portion, she has like several siblings. So it got split between the siblings and her. But when she passed away, her portion got transferred over to my mom and her siblings. So the other siblings from my grandma, they want to sell the house now.
What?
My Aunt Bo is staying there though. And for that house, our family built that as well. My great grandfather built that house. And it's on at least, that looks, I think it's an acre. It was 2 acres, but my great grandfather had a house built on the other side of the lawn for my uncle when he got married.
We're gonna have to, because I got stories for days, so I hope we can do a segment for specifically family generational wealth or lack of.
We can do a live on that if you want to schedule. Yeah, we could do a live like how the generations are getting jacked up.
That's a good one.
It's definitely, that's exactly how it's getting jacked up. And the worst part is, these aren't young people that are trying to sell it knowing that this is a generational house. These are older people. These are older than my mom because it's her mom's mom's, like her mom's siblings.
I got stories for days.
Like,
I got stories for days.
Yeah, it's crazy. And the funniest part is they'll probably keep theirs for their children and stuff.
Yeah.
But so the next question I have for you, for young adults and those just starting in their careers, what key pieces of advice would you offer for achieving success in real estate?
Just because you're 18 does not mean you cannot own a house. That first two income taxes that you file off of a W-2 and you're in the same industry, I would say go buy something. I don't care what it is.
An asset.
Go buy something.
Not just a car or a pair of shoes.
and go buy some property. If you've been on your job after age 18, you've been on your job for 2 years, just go figure out, go to a loan officer to see how much you can afford to purchase whatever that looks like. If it's a condo,
A
whatever,
trailer,
whatever,
anything.
go
It'll make
purchase
you
something.
some money.
Yep.
Because trailers are pretty cheap too. You can literally buy a whole trailer for really cheap.
Mm-hmm.
And then the person that you rent it out to just has to pay for the land fee and all that stuff. You probably won't even have to pay for it depending on how you go about it.
And also, I also just tell young people in general to, if you're going to college, to either minor in business or major in business, and then make the minor the business. So if it's psychology, that way you can turn your psychology practice into a business, or veterinarian, you can turn that into a business. Just always have business accompany what it is that you're interested in. So that way you won't just come out of college being a worker. You can come out of college doing what you like, doing what you love, doing what you have a specialty in, but also turn it into a business.
Yep. And then there's also business resources that are for free too.
Mm-hmm.
So some people's banks, like my bank, the Bank of America, where I have my business account, they offer, it's called Operation Hope, that'll help coach you in your business, and that's free for those who may not want to go to college or aren't in college. There's free resources. You can go down to your local Chamber of Commerce. They'll let you know about free resources. There's so many options, and people always, the first thing out their mouth is their pockets.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so many free resources. Like I just gave a whole bunch of free resources. Well, I didn't give you the information for them, but I know a whole bunch of free resources that I've been using personally over the past few years, and it's really helped me grow. And the freest one of all is your time.
Yep.
So find somebody, like you said, find somebody doing what you want to do and offer them your time.
Yep.
I'm sure they need help with something,
Mm-hmm.
and they can't afford to hire somebody. So just offer them your time in exchange for their advice.
Yep.
That's all. It makes it super easy. Yep. So my next question before we end it with my final question, let's talk about your books.
Well, last we met, I believe you have my
Journal. Yes.
I believe you have my affirmation for millennial entrepreneurs.
I think so.
Okay, so since then I've rebranded. So I have the same journal for that one,
Mhm.
but it's rebranded with my new colors or what have you. And this one was the Luxury Mindset to Access Affirmation Journal. And this one is primarily focused on real estate entrepreneurship and day trading.
Okay.
Because those are the things that I love so much, right?
Mhm.
And each page is designated to one of the three. So I am a successful homeowner,
Mhm.
or I trade successfully in the market, or something like that. Because I think all three of them go together.
They do.
So I also tell people, I'm always for entrepreneurship, I'm always for real estate, but I'm also encouraging people to learn about the stock market in whatever capacity that it is, to still have have your money working for you some type of way. So even if you're on your job and they have some type of option for you to get into stocks, or they'll put in.
If you have to do a 401k through your job, go ahead and do it.
But know what they're putting your money in, though. At least have that bit of knowledge to say, like, okay, I know that I have money wrapped up in this, or what have you. So this is my beautiful Luxury Mindset to Access Affirmation Journal.
Yes, ma'am.
It is available on Amazon.
Okay. So you definitely can find this on Amazon. And I love mine. I will start using it today.
You're welcome, and thank you again.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so this is my final question, right? Final question. What advice would you give someone facing challenges that are embarking on their wealth building journey?
Oh, facing challenges that are embarking. So challenges that they're on their journey, and they got challenges.
Yeah, because we touched on a few of them.
Challenges. You're going to have challenges. You have to, first of all, know that you're being challenged, and know that once the challenge is over, you're just on to the next. So just get over that challenge, get over that hump, and keep moving and keep going. One of my restaurant mentor, Javari, is gay in Atlanta. A lot of times I hear him say every level is a new devil. So just get over the next one and move to the next level.
It is, because as much as people try to say, oh, money solves problems, it does, but it causes them too. So you just have to be aware that you might be facing some problems now. they'll just change as you move on in your journey. Like, don't think you're just gonna avoid them when you start being successful. That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like Biggie said, more money, more problems.
Yeah.
So you just have to be prepared for the new problems.
Every level got a new devil.
Yes,
so.
ma'am. Well, thank you for your time. I'm
Thank
glad
you
we
so
finally
much.
made it.
I'm excited.
Yes, ma'am. All right.